Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pre-season draw show for season 3. I am your gracious host, Stripes, and I am also joined by Gunnar, or I am Jacob, right?
I am Johnny, but close enough.
Close enough.
Yep.
Close enough. And as you can see, we've had champions come in and out throughout these past 2 seasons, both for the Masters and the Legends divisions, for the preseason open, and all I gotta say is I'm ready to crown ourselves a preseason champion for season 3. But before we do that, we have to go through the draw show for that. And who knows, perhaps one of these banners, a banner for next season, will have one of these teams for not just the preseason open, but for the grand tournament as well. Are you excited to see who gets where?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a banger for sure.
Yes, there are some big changes coming through for a lot of these different rosters, specifically the MNG rosters, and we also get new teams coming in, and I am super excited, and we'll talk all about that as we get into the draw show. But first and foremost, of course, we have new teams coming in, and that means new players, new everything. So just a quick rundown of how this draw show is going to work for everyone, just to make sure that you're on page, need a refresher, new here, whatever the case. Of course, with the draw show, we do have a set format. It is quite different than the regular league. Teams are going to be randomly drawn. They're going to have random seeds, and seed determines side selection as well. All best of one, single elimination. Basically, it's just random, where you get random matchups and everything. None of this has any say in the regular season. None of this has anything to do with any of that. This is more of just a way to make sure your roster is formalized, get a feel for some of the other teams, and also get that synergy building with your own team. And we do have, I believe, 9 teams in this bracket, which means we will have a one game for the pre-quarterfinals, as you can see here. Heat 1 will be tomorrow, with the 8-9 game taking place at 8:30. Everything else playing at 9:30. And then the week after, we'll have the semis and the finals all cast for all of you. And I am super excited to see who makes it to the finals. We've had 2 different teams take the preseason, and who knows, maybe we'll see a third.
Yeah, so it'll be a 2-week agenda, and I think we don't have all the teams right now, but still, it'll be a good preseason matchup.
Indeed. Of course, we have some of the mainstays, the 4 Midnight Gaming rosters: Direwolves, Chaos, Eclipse, and Rajin Storm, all of which with some pretty massive changes, but we'll get to that once they get announced. We also have GT Sabers, Apple Bottom Boys, Espionage, Aegis Gaming, and Lightweight Crew joining the team as well. But before we can say who do we think could potentially get it, we have to figure out who is going where in this bracket. Once you get drawn, you'll be placed, and I believe this is going to be in seed order from 1 down all the way down to 9. So let's get into this. Are there any matchups that you want to see off the top of your head?
Well, we have the Apple Bottom Boys, which are good friends of mine, and I'm looking to see them do pretty well. And then we have my team, Lightweight Crew. We're looking to put a dent in the bracket. So I don't know. Let's see. And then I know the Direwolves made a good adjustment to the roster too. So it's gonna be interesting.
Indeed, but first and foremost, we have GT Sabres slotting in at the 6th seed. A pretty solid seed, not really likely to get side selection, but you also don't have to play that extra match in the beginning. Although, some say in the preseason might actually be a blessing, especially if you can win it. But with them slotted in right there, we will have to see who they play out against and how the rest of this bracket fills out. And we do have our next seed here. Filling in on the 2 seed, we have the one, the only. Give it a second. Lightweight Crew. Ooh.
So we play the 6th seed.
You will play the 7 seed, actually. The 3 seed will play the 6 seed, but what this does mean is as long as you keep winning, you'll have side selection all the way up until the finals, unless the number 1 seed makes it to the finals as well. So side selection can be kind of big, depending on what comes into the meta. So I'm excited to see who your opponents are going to be. So we're going to have to wait and see for that, though, as we jump over to another seed, the 4 seed. So we're going on to the other side of the bracket, the team that is going, one of the teams in that 5-man side of the bracket, and it is going to be MNG Eclipse, my team, in fact. For those of you who know me, I've been on 3 different MNG rosters: Chaos, not Direwolves, Rajin Storm, and now Eclipse. And I gotta say, I'm excited with this Eclipse team. We have so much potential. Did pretty well in inter-org scrims. Not gonna spill too much. There is a lot to feel good about with this Eclipse roster. So be on the lookout for us. Not just in the preseason open, but when we go into the regular season as well.
Your mid laner is Destiny, right?
I'm the mid laner.
Oh, okay. All right, well, then do it up.
A little bit wrong. And now we got the 8th seed with the first team in the pre-quarter-final matchup, and it's going to be the Direwolves. The Direwolves have some pretty big changes coming to their roster, and a pretty big acquisition, if I do say so myself. Would you like to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I heard Vincent is making his way over to the Direwolves, so that's gonna be an interesting matchup for the mid lane.
Indeed. Going back to those inter-org scrims, I was kind of shocked seeing Vincent, kind of scared, but then Vincent's actually not their mid laner. That is the shocking part. He is on the starting roster, but he's not their mid laner. But with Vincent join a veteran, a season 1 grand final champion, I'm excited to see what this Direwolves roster can do. Now, heading over to seed 5, we have Rajin Storm. Already, that top side of the bracket is getting stacked with Midnight Gaming rosters. All that's left is Chaos, and we'll have that entire side of the bracket filled. And potentially, and of course, with that, we have an inter-org game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup. I'm looking to see who comes out on top there.
Yes, potentially we could have all 4 Midnight Gaming teams on that top side of the bracket. All we are missing are Chaos. Still 2 places left up there and 4 teams left. Going down to the other side of the bracket one more time, we have the 3 seed. And that team is going to be Aegis Gaming. Brand new roster to the league. Have a little bit of insight. Their main roster is pretty decent. They are. So watch for them as well. Them versus GT Sabres, 2 new teams in the coming into the league. And like I said last season with new teams, time to make a splash, time to make a name for themselves. Which of these new teams should we be more hyped for? We'll just have to watch the matchup and see.
Yeah, their roster is looking pretty good. As I'm taking a peek at it right now, they have a pretty good standing.
Indeed, and I can't wait to see how they show up. Going over to the 9 seed, the other team that's going to be facing the Direwolves in the pre-quarterfinal bracket, or in the pre-quarterfinal match, is the Apple Bottom Boys.
Let's go!
So why don't you talk about that matchup a little bit?
So the Apple Bottom Boys, they're relentless, man. They've got a diehard team. They've been around since season 1. It's gonna be a good game.
Indeed. 2 teams left, 2 spots left. The number 1 seed and the number 7 seed still left to decide who's going where between Espionage and Chaos. That's what we got to see. And going to the 7 seed, facing off against you guys, the lightweight crew, we have Espionage.
Okay. I gotta do some research, do some digging on them, but I know they're probably a good team, so it'll be a fun matchup to play them for sure.
Yes, but also I got one big thing to point out. There's one team left, one spot in that upper side of the bracket, and that last team's an MNG team. If the Dire Wolves win against the Apple Bottom Boys, we have an entire side of the bracket of nothing but MNG teams, and boy, is that going to be a slugfest. I am excited to see how this ends up. It's going to be... You could not have written a better script, I believe. So, all in all, this is going... I'm really excited for this. Not just because we got new teams coming in all across, but we have MNG, basically MNG on one side of the bracket, and new teams coming in on the other side of the bracket, with Apple Bottom Boys being the odd man out because of 5 people in the top side of the bracket.
Yeah, they're looking to fight their way out of that bracket right there for sure. They got a whole crew of MNG that they got to fight through, but
it's gonna be tough. Chaos, a team to watch out for. Haven't been really prevalent, but this new Chaos roster, man, they've been playing together for quite a long time. They are really deadly. They are really strong, and just watch out for them in the very end. They are favorites for me to make it to the finals. Like, even over my own team. Okay. Chaos is scary, man. Chaos is very, very scary. Want to give a huge shout out.
Definitely gonna look out for them for sure.
Yes. Before we end the stream today, special thanks to everyone involved in making this. Special thanks to the community moderators. Make sure, and don't forget, this is only the preseason. There's still time for you to register your team for Season 3. Currently, we still have the 2 divisions, but if we get just enough, maybe, just maybe we could add a 3rd. It'll all depend on who signs up. Regular season will start on the 22nd, so 2 weeks after that finals of the preseason. That's going to do it for us. My name is Stripes. This is I Am Johnny. We'll see you all in the preseason. Peace.